It's June 22nd. Welcome to the NWA Weekly Real Estate Market Report.
Okay. Dancing beat.
Let me tell you a story about a guy, let's call him Steve. Steve lives in Northwest Arkansas and he wants to sell his house, but he's unsure, is this a good time to do it or is this not a good time to do it? So Steve picks up the phone and he calls his best friend who's a realtor. Let's call him David. So Steve says to David, David, hey, I'm wanting to sell my house, but I don't know, is now a good time or not? And David says, well, Steve, it's funny you ask because just this week, there was 292 homes sold over the last 7 days. And Steve says to David, but 292, is that a good number? Is that a bad number? I don't have context. So David says, to give you an idea, that's 16 more home sales than we saw last week, and it's 45 more home sales than we saw this week a year ago. And then David says, Steve, what's really interesting about that is there was only 179 new listings this past week. You see, in Northwest Arkansas, we've been seeing our inventory count steadily decrease these last few weeks. In fact, there's only 1,394 homes listed for sale, and that's down 47 from last week. And it's keeping with the weekly trend of going down about 50 houses every week. What that means for you, Steve, is if you put your house on the market, there's going to be less competition and more eyes are going to be focused in on your house, which means you can probably sell for more and you can probably sell quicker. In fact, right now, on average in the two counties, Steve, homes are selling for $127 a square foot. That's up $1 from last week, but it's up $11 a square foot from this time last year. Steve, over half the homes in Northwest Arkansas are selling at 98.4% of the asking price or better. And this past week, the average days on market has only been 59 days, which means that half of all the homes sold this past week sold in less than 59 days. Steve says, gosh, David, it sounds like that now really is a good time to be selling my house. You're exactly right, Steve. Now is a great time to be selling your house. We haven't seen inventory levels this low in a long time. In fact, we've only got 5 months inventory right now in Northwest Arkansas. And then Steve says, well, David, what about the people who are looking to buy a house? What do they do in this time? And David says, well, Steve, that's a very good question. In markets like these, when you're buying a house, it's important to have a very good realtor that you trust and who knows what they're doing. And Steve says, well, I feel a lot better, David. Can you help me list my house? And David says, absolutely, Steve. Let me put together a competitive market analysis for you and I will email it right to you. Thanks for listening to The Adventures of Steve. I'm David Mitchell and this has been your NWA Weekly Real Estate Market Report.
Okay. Dancing beat.